Okay, Teagues, I'm just going to come right out and say it. The Yamaha MT09 is a superb motorcycle. But there's one thing that might just stop someone like me from buying one.
Let's start with the engine, because
The engine's superb.
I don't think there's anything bad that we can say about that engine.
With a bike like this, that's the only place you can start is with the engine.
Yeah.
Now, it's a 890cc 4-valve liquid-cooled triple. Superb. Absolutely superb engine.
It's not snatchy unless you have it in sports mode. Then it's a bit snatchy.
Oh, I didn't find it too snatchy in sports mode.
I did when I didn't realise it was in sports
Yeah, gotcha.
mode and I took
Okay.
off at the lights. It was snatchy, but no, it's a pretty smooth power delivery.
It's the perfect balance between power and torque.
Yeah.
I predominantly ride twins.
Yeah.
With that, low down torque. And this is just the perfect balance. And I can definitely see myself owning a triple at some stage. I absolutely loved every triple I've been on so far.
Me too.
And this one's probably the top of the list.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah, I reckon it is.
For the XSR?
Well, it's the same engine.
Yeah, I know. But you would choose this?
I'd choose this engine. Now the sound, they've really tweaked the sound on this one. They've got those little acoustic amplifier grills, which makes the induction sound absolutely wonderful. Okay, next up, the quick shifter. What do you think?
Oh, the quick shifter. Oh, it was so good. It's on par. Well, it's the same engine, same quick shifter as the Yamaha XSR that we just rode.
The XSR 900 GP.
Yes. Great. Oh, God. Isn't it smooth?
I said in that video that I can't remember the Street Triple or the M1000R quick shifter being any better than this one.
Yeah.
And I rode in today on it, and mate, it's a wonderful quick shifter. So it's got those little arrows that tell you when you can quick shift and when you can't.
That's like the first time you've seen those arrows on a bike. We've had it on a couple, but usually they're too small for
I was looking out for them, but on this one, it just makes the clutch completely redundant. So I was just quick shifting every time. First gear, no dramas at all, up and down.
Yeah, super smooth. Really hard to get back on my bike that doesn't have a quick shifter. Brakes were superb, I thought. So they're dual 298mm discs, which are really just not too sharp, but they're there. Like, you feel them, especially at the front, I found. Yeah.
The front brake is excellent. And
Yeah.
I actually I know when I rode the R7, I found the front on that really quite sharp.
Yeah.
These ones, great feel, really good linearity through the brake lever. They come on nice and hard. I did find, particularly, I think it was in street mode, that the rear ABS kicks in a little bit too quick.
Yep.
Didn't notice it on sports mode. Actually tried it out this morning, but in street mode, I felt like the ABS was coming on a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
But like it's there. That's what it's there for, to save you. So brakes are excellent. So one area where the MT09 really shines is the electronics.
Yeah.
It's got a 6-axis IMU with a suite full of lean-sensitive rider aids, including a Yamaha backslip regulator, which stabilises the bike under heavy braking. Now, I had to look that up because I wasn't actually sure what it was.
I was going to say, I have no idea what that means.
So it stabilises the bike, and maybe that's something to do with the ABS as well, that I was finding that ABS kicking in a bit quick. Could be. If you know about that, add a comment below. So part of the electronics, there's rider modes. There's rain, street, sport, and 2 customizable modes. Now, I think I left it mostly in sport, but I did try a couple of the customized modes.
Yeah.
What I really liked was going full power with a little bit more wheelie control, lift control.
Yep.
Having that on too. But basically full power for the rest of it. And that, for me, seemed pretty good. But other than that, sports mode was great.
I mean, I always find in a lot of bikes that street mode is a bit bland.
Yeah.
But for me, honestly, street mode, I kept it on street mode most of my riding. When I was commuting, I did sort of, try a couple of the other modes. I put it on sports mode where I took off at lights and almost lost the bike. I'm kidding. But look, street mode was pretty great also.
No, nothing wrong with street mode.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds great and it takes off quick. So, the street mode's good. I didn't actually put it in rain.
No, I
It wasn't
don't do
raining,
rain.
So it didn't bother.
It's also got cruise control, which I always love having on a bike, right? And I think you can use it from third gear and up.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to use it doing like 55 Ks and I couldn't get it to work.
Because you're probably only in second gear.
And I was in second gear, yeah. So that's what it was. You have to be in third gear or up. Super easy to use, super easy to adjust. The buttons were all great.
Yeah, no, the cruise control was really simple to use. It's not adaptive, or it's not radar cruise control, but that's probably to do with the cost of the bike as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the cruise control worked flawlessly and it was easy to use.
Yep.
So the other thing is new TFT on this bike.
Beautiful.
It's bigger than the older TFT on the older MT09s.
Yep.
It's basically the same one on the XSR 900 GP that we had, but with slightly different themes.
Didn't have an analog clock for you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I liked the analog tacho on the
XSR had
the XSR 900 GP. This didn't have that. I still found a couple of themes that looked all right.
I think all the themes looked great, actually. I really liked them. So, I don't know about you, I found the suspension pretty good.
Yeah,
Every
good.
now and then it was a little hard going over.
It's firm, but I kind of liked it being firm suspension for this kind of bike.
It wasn't over the top firm that it
Definitely
hurt.
not, yeah.
But it's fully adjustable. It's 41mm KYB forks and adjustable KYB linkage shock at the back.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it was pretty great.
So you've got full adjustment over damping and rebound and that kind of thing, so you can adjust it as you want. To be honest, the way they'd set it up for this press bike, I actually found it fine for me, so I didn't bother adjusting it at all. Now, the tyres are excellent. Now, I've never ridden on these Bridgestone Batlax Hypersports before, but they were grippy, they were confidence-inspiring. I went on a bit of a spirited ride, and these things were just...
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, they were wonderful. I'll be looking at those for some other bikes that I've in my garage because I've ridden on Bridgestone Batlaxes before, but not these Hypersports.
Yeah.
They were wonderful.
I'm guessing they're kind of pricey tyres.
So I had BT46s on my R65 and I replaced them just recently with Avon Road Riders. So the BT46s were a little bit cheaper.
Okay.
So I'm assuming they'll be a little bit more expensive, but not. I don't think they're outrageously priced. I'm not actually sure about that.
So that riding position was pretty great for the most part, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. How did you find it?
I loved it. Yeah. I mostly loved it.
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of getting used to at the start because you are sort of canted forward slightly, and that seat does push you forward a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a criticism of MT09s for quite a while. I was talking to a mate who had the older version, and he pointed out that. I said, mate, the seat just pushes you forward. He said, yeah. He said he had the same with his, issue with his bike. He said, you get used to it. And must admit, the more I rode this bike, the more I did get used to it.
Yeah.
But the ride position is aggressive, but it also sits you up nice and high.
You're very high up.
So that makes it great in traffic, great commuter.
Oh.
And it's only 193 kilos wet, so it's a pretty light sort of bike with that kind of power.
So in terms of the LED lights, look-wise, first of all, at the front, they looked great. It does create like a really straight line of light. I
noticed that as well.
I mean, look, it's more obvious when you're close up to something like a wall versus like when you're actually riding, it's fine. It gives a nice sort of ray
Spread
of light.
Yeah. So in terms of pricing, I actually think it's pretty good. At $17,399 right away here in Australia, I actually think that represents reasonably good value. So there's a few things I didn't like about the bike, like most bikes. And all these are pretty minor, except for the last one.
Oh, okay. We're leading up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the master brake cylinder, two things about it. Just looks like a bloody urine sample pot. Looks awful. And this one kept coming loose. So it was a little bit loose. So it was wobbling around as we were riding. Yeah.
Like from the moment I picked it up, it was shaking like
So I
this.
did have to nip it up and tighten it. And it's actually come loose, a little bit loose again.
Okay.
So you can tighten it up. I didn't want to over tighten it. A bit of Loctite would fix that. But just doesn't look great sitting there, I don't think.
All right. So I said I'd come back to this, that seat position. I don't know what it is. Okay. So the best way I can describe it is canted forward. So it kind of pushes you so you're leaning forward a little bit into the tank.
Yep.
But then your bars are quite high, so you're sitting upright. So it's this awkward positioning where you're leaning forward, but then forced to sit upright. And I just found that just uncomfortable. And yes, I did get used to it after a while, but then every now and then on the different types of riding I was doing, so if I was maybe doing commuting where I'm just sort of doing slow riding, it would come up again of like, this is a weird positioning where I can't tell if it's meant to be leaning forward positioning or you're meant to be sitting upright.
One thing that I found a bit weird was I had the cruise control on and I'm in fifth gear cruising down the freeway. I thought I'll just go up to sixth. Did that, deactivated the cruise control. I was like, what's going on there?
Yep.
So that was a little bit of a shock for me. So the cruise control does not work with the quick shifter.
Yep.
So Teagues, indicator button. What do you think?
Oh God, it's the same as the XSR 900 GP.
Yeah.
It's a weird configuration, and honestly, I did get used to it. So you have to click it into the direction that you want to indicate, and then to turn it off, you have to do it again. So it's not clicking in, it's the same direction twice.
But it is self-cancelling after about 15 seconds.
Thank God, because otherwise I would have been going the whole way home with my blinker on.
Well, every time I when I first picked it up,
Yep.
I was like, okay, indicate, no, turn it off, no, now I'm going the other way. Mate,
Yeah.
people in front of me must have been going, where the hell is this guy going?
Yeah, I was exactly
It was
the
like
same.
left, right.
Yeah.
Once I got used to it, it was actually made sense. But yeah, it's kind of a tricky thing to get used to start with. But Tegan, the main thing for me
Here we are.
that I don't like about the MT09
Yes.
is the looks. For me, it's just too aggressive. I don't like the angles. It just doesn't flow.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think the first thought I had when I picked it up is, good God, they've made this very angular.
Yeah.
More so, like I know the MT ranges are a little angular, but it kind of flows as well.
Yeah.
This is aggressively angular.
Yeah.
And even that tank, like it's a 14-litre tank,
Yep.
but the angles of it makes it look big and bulky. And maybe that's the point of it. Maybe it's just meant to look a bit meaner.
It's subjective. Some people are going to love it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe just us, we don't like it.
Yeah.
But we are lucky that with this superb engine and this superb quick shifter, there's a couple of other bikes in the range that do definitely appeal more to me.
Yeah, and me.
Okay, for me, grin factor. Now this one, you got superb engine. You've got wonderful quick shifter.
Yeah.
It sounds good. The sound is grin-inducing. The handling is incredible, and the engine just roars.
Yeah.
So I took it on, as I said, bit of a spirited ride, and the bike is a dead set hooligan machine.
Yeah.
Like it just eggs you on to go faster. It goes, come on, give us your best. But as I mentioned, the looks are not for me. Having said that, though, I still give it an 8.5. Like the thing is dead set. It's a wonderful bike to ride, and I've got to admit, it's the sort of bike. If they didn't have the XSR 900 and the XSR 900 GP, I reckon I could get over the looks
Yeah, okay.
and actually buy one because the engine is just superb.
Look, I'm sort of in agreement with you. Like, I think everything within the bike that makes up the bike is amazing. And I'm with you as well. Those triples, man, I think that's going to have to be my next bike is going to be a triple engine because it's just like, they're just great bikes. I'm really leaning towards them, actually.
They're the perfect balance between power and torque.
Yeah. And then having, that quick shifter that's so smooth. And also, look, I think it's just a great bike that you can commute daily on.
Yeah, definitely.
And filter with ease, but also,
Have some fun.
take it and have some fun on it because the power is there. Look, I don't think, if I was to compare it with my top bikes, which for me would be the Street Triple
Yep.
and the M1000R,
Yep.
I think the looks bring it down for me as well,
Yep.
but a little bit. So I would also give it an 8.5 because it's a great bike. It's just the looks for me. I think I get used to the seating position. So look, 8.5. It's still a great bike, and I would happily have one in the garage.
Absolutely. And I'd definitely have a triple in the garage. And,
Yes.
and we're lucky that there's a few really great options at the moment.
Yeah.
There's obviously the Triumph Street Triple. There's the MT09. There's the XSR 900, the XSR 900 GP.
Yep.
So a couple of Yamahas in there and a Triumph. But if it was me, if I was adding a triple to the garage today, I'd go something old and I'd go a Laverda Jota.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say at all.
I just love old bikes, and I love Laverdas.
Fair.
But if I was going a new bike, it'd probably be the XSR 900 GP.
Yeah, I would choose the XSR over the MT09. But we're talking about the MT09, so there you go.
Now check out this playlist up here of other bikes in the Yamaha range, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can ride a motorcycle, and that's kind of the same thing.